Hello my favourites, welcome back. There was a lot of noise going on outside and I'm extremely overstimulated right now, but it's okay because I'm still going to do a video for you guys. Today we are going to be reacting to, so you know how I said I wanted to react to like more David Bowie stuff? Well, start reacting to David Bowie stuff. I'm going to be reacting to like, I don't really know if it's it's not a documentary, it's more just like a video about him, just like information on him, which I wanted because I want to know like a bit more background. But it's called Understanding David Bowie's Characters. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to give me a big insight to, like, you know how I watched the Beatles video and it showed me a lot about them? I'm not sure if it's going to be one of those videos, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below. And I'm going to be going through, similar to the Beatles as well, I'm going to be going through David Bowie's stuff in order. So the next video from this video will be the first song on his first album. And I'm sorry about the light as well. It's like glaring through. I've given up. Honestly, I've just given up. So we're just gonna have to deal with it. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. Understanding David Bowie's Characters.
David Bowie is a man of many arts. In addition to being a musical chameleon, creating hit singles in almost every decade of his career, he was also an actor in both movies and on stage. His fictional stage characters have spread fear, joy, ecstasy, and confusion amongst audiences, leading him to become one of the most polarizing figures in music history.
Yeah, something about David Bowie, when I was growing up, I watched Labyrinth and it's still like such an iconic movie. I love it so much. I've got a t-shirt of it, and I remember asking my mum, who's the guy who plays the lead role? And she was like, oh, that's David Bowie. And I was like, who's David Bowie? And she was like, oh, he's a musician. I was like, oh, well, why is he acting as well then? So I was like, I didn't realise you could put two and two together because I was a child, but yeah, a bit idiotic, but yeah. I remember watching it and I was like, he's really interesting. Like, I've never seen anyone like him. I think they definitely got it right in the movie.
Exactly made David Bowie's characters so captivating.
Yeah, captivating, that's the right word.
I felt often, ever since I was a teenager, so adrift and so not part of everyone else, with so many dark secrets about my family in the cupboard. It kind of made me feel very much on the outside of everything.
Really?
In interviews, Bowie sometimes mentioned how he always felt different compared to other people. His family was ridden by mental disorders such as schizophrenia. Some members even went as far as committing suicide. This more than enough explains why he felt a sense of isolation and depression from a very early age. But despite
there's something, that's what I was saying, there's something so unique about him. I couldn't really pinpoint, even at a young age, like when I saw him on the TV, I was like, I've never come across anyone like him before. Right.
Feelings and also the lack of success during his initial decade as a musician, he still kept on improving and changing his style. It was from these feelings of isolation and depression, and also through his act of perseverance, that David Bowie invented his first character, Major Tom.
Major Tom.
The story of Major Tom is very simple. He's an astronaut setting out on a dangerous journey into space. The story ends tragically, with Tom being stranded in his spaceship a million miles from home.
I never knew this. So he's actually like, I'm so stupid. Like, I knew his songs, like, I don't know how to explain it. But I don't know, like, I was always really confused about what he was doing with the music. Not about like the actual songs, but like the characters. I didn't realise he had characters. That sounds, you guys are going to think I'm so stupid, but I never realised they were actual like characters he was making up. That's so unique.
The theory is that Bowie felt something similar about his own journey through music. His 1969 released song, Space Oddity, was either gonna succeed marvelously or fail miserably. And luckily enough, it was a huge success.
Oh, good.
David, the record which you have in charts in Britain at the moment is undoubtedly your biggest success to date, isn't it?
My only success today.
I wouldn't have said that.
The character of Major Tom also made a second appearance on a song called Ashes to Ashes that he released in 1980. This song also reflects another...
Why was he making up the characters though? Was it to reflect like his inner feelings about things, or like why? Why was he making up these characters?
...seated issue in Bowie's life. For a long time, he had suffered from drug addiction.
Never mind.
And it seemed like it was much easier for Bowie to talk about his issue through the voice of Major Tom.
Wow. That is so powerful. I love how I asked you guys the question and it answered it straight away. I always do that. Oh, I always do that. It's not good. I need to just like be more patient.
This character didn't
oh my god,
make it
I
easier
just
for Bowie
sorry,
to
just quickly. I just know I'm gonna love him. I just know I'm gonna love him. It's like the Beatles. I just know. Like you get a feeling. I just know.
His emotions, it also allowed him to expand the medium of music. The song Space Oddity, for example, told a cohesive story that a lot of people could relate to.
Yeah.
He might never set out on a frightening journey to space, but maybe a frightening journey to another country, to the first day of school,
like
or
it's very relatable.
a job interview. Surely,
like you can kind of like use the song and the lyrics and relate it to any part, well, not any part of your life, but it can relate to a lot of parts of people's lives. His character that he makes up becomes almost a sense of security because people don't feel as alone because that character's going through that as well.
It's a song about facing fear, and because of that, the music became more visual and real. Later on, Bowie became even more extravagant and prolific in his character development. I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about here.
He's so cool.
In 1972, what was to become Bowie's most influential character came to life. And that character was, of course, Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah. Changes.
The first thing that made Ziggy such an appealing character was the fact that he was different.
Yeah.
Very few people until that point had used fictional characters and role-playing during performances.
I've never heard of it before. I know probably a lot of musicians do it now in some kind of form, but I was always confused. I swear I've asked my parents this before. I was like, who's Ziggy Stardust? And I swear I've asked this before, but I never knew. Like, I don't know. I think as a kid I was always really confused with where he was going with it. I'm so happy I know now.
Much of the music was made and performed in a very linear, two-dimensional fashion.
Yeah.
You can even look at some of the most contemporary rock bands and artists during the early 1970s and immediately see the difference. Of course, these bands were amazing live as well, but with Ziggy Stardust, you suddenly had this pale, thin, cross-dressing alien that was different from everything else.
I feel like I might be completely wrong, but the style of Ziggy Stardust, I feel like it's quite common in younger people's fashion sense today as well. Like, I think... Like, I see a lot of people, like, wearing flamboyant clothing, and I love that, like, all the colours and everything. But I think before that, it wasn't really done as much until, obviously, the 80s and stuff. And I feel like nowadays, it's kind of, the fashion's almost done like a full circle. And people are, like, copying the fashion of back then and using it in their own lives now. Even I am, in a sense, but... Maybe Ziggy Stardust was the first, like they said, Ziggy Stardust was the first unique kind of character, and people could look at that and be like, oh my god, that's cool.
Many people in the audience were shocked because it was way beyond comprehension at that time. But it wasn't just his appearance that made people outrageous. A couple of months earlier, he had openly stated in the press that he was gay. Remember, this was still the early 70s, so there was a lot of taboo around gays' rights and their social status. Now, Ziggy wasn't as original as a lot of people think he was. Bowie personally mentioned how the character was directly inspired by artists like Vince Taylor, Iggy Pop, and Lou Reed.
Really?
I've always found that I collect. I'm a collector. And I've always just seemed to collect personalities.
It was the synthesis, the collection of these artists' personalities that made Ziggy greater than the sum of his parts.
Yeah, like he picked out the best parts of people's personalities, like all these stars' personalities, and then collected them into one and made Ziggy Stardust.
What's even more interesting about Ziggy is his story. In the album's plotline, humanity will end within 5 years because of the lack of natural resources. Ziggy Stardust is part alien, part human, and he becomes a rock star right after these tragic news are revealed. He also believes in a spaceman who will be coming down to save Earth from its destruction. But before any of this happens, he is killed by his fans.
Oh my god.
I know, it can be a lot to take in, but it's a really fascinating story. And I'll leave some
Also,
links.
like, the amount of courage he would have had to actually come out as gay at that time, especially, like, that takes some balls. I'm sorry, but that takes some balls. That shows a lot about his character as well. Like, he's not afraid to be his authentic self, and I love that.
To a website down below that goes more in depth into the story if you want to learn more. This character became so influential that Bowie eventually ended up acting as Ziggy Stardust outside of shows,
Wow.
in interviews, and also during his private time.
I carried
Oh
the
my
character
God.
through into interviews, into newspapers, on stage, off stage, whenever there was media around.
The
He,
role
like,
became
lived and breathed that
indistinguishable
character.
from his real personality to the degree that he came to doubt his own sanity. As a result, Bowie abruptly retired his character on July 3rd, 1973. Just like the song named after the character.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Ziggy-
it's like when it can be oh, there's a dog barking now. We will have to put up with it. It can be kind of dangerous because when actors become different characters, if they get so I don't really know the word, maybe like obsessed with the character, they literally live and breathe that character and they become that character and they kind of lose sense of reality a bit because they're like, my old life is gone and I'm now this character and I've still got to live up to that and everyone loves this character, so maybe that will make more people like me. And not necessarily that's what David was thinking, but that's what can happen with a lot of actors. I think it's just about finding that fine line with being the character but then also separating that character from your personal life so you can be yourself and then also be the character.
Stardust's fame came fast, but he ended just as quickly. There's a bunch of other characters as well that David Bowie has created and played over the years, in addition to Ziggy Stardust, such as the Thin White Duke, Aladdin Sane, Halloween Jack. He also played several roles in movies, but the reason why his role-playing worked so well, specifically with music, was because he had a talent for both. When his
Yeah,
acting
exactly.
and music came together, it created something that impacted our culture for generations. When people pretend to be someone they're not, it can be interpreted as a way of hiding a specific weakness. But in Bowie's case, I think it further developed and showcased his strengths. By creating characters, David Bowie managed to channel his personality
Yeah.
and communicate with his audience even more effortlessly. He expanded the art of music into a bigger medium by mixing it with theater and storytelling. And that's what made David...
That's what I think a lot of musicians lack. Like, it came obviously naturally for him and he could use the acting and the music together to make something really special. But I feel like you have to have, as a musician, you have to have a certain level of acting behind you to kind of carry you on stage, because you can do fine in the studio and sing the song, that's fine, but you also need to act a bit on stage to get the crowd going, to tell the story.
Such a captivating artist. That's why we'll keep making videos like this one about him many years after his death. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to watch similar videos in the future from this channel, then I highly suggest you click the first link in the description below.
Yeah guys, go
By
check
doing
out
that,
his channel as well.
I'll be able to send you my YouTube videos directly to you on Messenger. So if that sounds good, make sure to click that link below. And yep, that's it. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
There you go. If you enjoyed the video I watched, go check out his channel, Lai Likes Music. I'm really happy I watched that video, because I never really as I said throughout the whole video, I've never really understood David Bowie's kind of take on it, and I was always confused between his acting and the music. I was like, I think that's probably why I haven't looked into him before and properly listened to his music, because I think the whole thing kind of overwhelmed me. I was like, where do I even start with this? But that's why I love my channel, because I actually, like, I force myself to listen to it, and then I can actually enjoy it. If I didn't have this channel, I'd just put it off of like going through the music. I don't know why, it's just my silly autistic brain. I've never seen a musician properly create... Oh, what is that? Shh. Oh my god. I've never seen a musician properly create characters to David Bowie's extent before. Let me know if you know any other musicians who do the characters. But I really love that. I really like that take on it. And I just think it's got such a deeper meaning. And I feel like he's a very complex individual, and I can't wait to actually find out about his personal life and stuff. I'm really intrigued now. I'm really intrigued. So sorry about that background horrible noise. I think it's like I don't know what it is, like a machine or something. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. See you later.